EC Dub. We're back with some more ECW lives. And we're going to start off this month with an incredible amount of tag team matches. 4 out of 5 of the matches tonight are in the tag team tournament. But here we are starting off tonight's show with a one-on-one match. Chris Kanyon gets his first match here in ECW Lives after making his debut at our recent pay-per-view WrestlePalooza when he attacked Spike Dudley when Spike was facing off against Raven one-on-one. Very interesting debut for Kanyon. Nobody really saw that coming. Of course, not a member of ECW. And little Spike looking for some retribution. Spike had his big opportunity. WrestlePalooza against Raven. Spike really had a chance to prove what he could do. But, yeah, I mean, Kanyon coming through the crowd out of nowhere, catching Spike, and that allowed Raven to get the 3 count straight off the bat. Spike now dropping a big leg drop across the back of the head of Kanyon. Oh, and here's Raven's music once again, looking like Raven could be looking to try and return the favor to Kanyon. We said there was history between Raven and Kanyon. Wait, that's not Raven. Is that Scotty Riggs? That's Scotty Riggs. Again, someone with a lot of history with Raven from WCW. And now here he is in ECW assisting Chris Kanyon. Wow. Maybe, just maybe, Raven might be looking to get his flock back together. That is 2 men now that have turned up out of nowhere to assist. Well, not to assist, but to assist each other, I suppose. And they are definitely making an impact here. Of course, Raven got the victory at WrestlePalooza, and now Kanyon in his first official appearance here in ECW. In a very strong position now, thanks to that assault by Scotty Riggs. It was a very, very niche name. You either know... That's a really stupid sentence. I was going to say you either know Scotty Riggs or you don't, but that's obviously how things work, isn't it, really? You either know rocket science or you don't. It's one or the other, isn't it, I suppose. Kanyon, nice running dropkick right into the corner. He would love to get himself a ranking point on his debut here in ECW Lives. Kanyon springing Spike into the middle of the ring. There's the big boot in the gut. Now Kanyon taking Spike up into the jackknife powerbomb. There's the pin for the 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Okay. Spike lives on. But for how long can Spike live on? As Kanyon now with the diamond cutter into the pin he goes for the 1, 2. And the 3 count. And Kanyon does pick up a victory here on his debut in ECW Lives. And we see the debut then of Scotty Riggs. There he was, came in with that fisherman suplex. Of course, no disqualification. The referee did see it anyway, but no disqualification here. And I have an inkling myself that the flock might be looking to get back together here. That's the way it seems to me. With Kanyon assisting Raven, with Scotty Riggs now turning up as well. It all seems to fit, doesn't it? It all seems to fit. And there we go. Kanyon with a victory in his ECW debut. And here we go then. This is our first tag team match in our ECW Championship Tag Team Tournament. 16 teams will compete. These are the first 2. The Nasty Boys versus the Unholy Alliance. Now, the 16 teams, some of these will be debuts. We will see tonight all the teams and all the matches have been drawn at random against each other. So tonight we have got, of course, the Nasty Boys versus the Unholy Alliance. The Misfits, Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope, otherwise known as the Insane Clown Posse, taking on the Impact players, Lance Storm and Just Incredible. We've got the Dudley Boys, or the Dudleys, Bubba Ray and Devon, taking on BWO, Taka Michinoko and Terry Boy. And then our main event of tonight's ECW Lives will be the Eliminators, Perry Saturn and John Cronus, or Saturn and Cronus, going up against New Jack and Mustafa Saeed of the Gangsters. I keep doing that. The other 4 matches which you'll see on the next episode of ECW Lives will be FBI, Little Guido and Tony Marmaluke versus Triple Threat, Candido and Shane Douglas. The Chair Swinging Freaks, Axel Rotten and Balls Mahoney going up against Public Enemy, Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock. Roadkill and Danny Doring versus the Pitbulls, Pitbull number 1 and Pitbull number 2. And the final first round match will be RVD and Sabu going up against BWO International. Which means that I've completely messed this up, haven't I? Okay. Okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. I've messed it up. We're going to switch those 2 around. Because tonight we're supposed to be BWO, and then it was supposed to be BWO International next time round, and I've done BWO International tonight. So, in the second show, we're going to have RVD and Sabu versus Blue Meanie and Hollywood Nova. There we go. Simple as. Means the Dudley Boys have got a slightly easier match. Now, the Unholy Alliance was a real team in ECW for a period of time. They were managed by the Sinister Minister himself, James Mitchell, who I can actually download, but the game does not allow managers on a tornado match, so it's wasn't much use in having him, I suppose, at this point. But should be an interesting one. I think so far we have seen the Nasty Boys with a match which I believe they did win. Did they? Nasty Boys, did you win your debut match? If my rankings will work. They did not. They lost. Okay. They lost their debut match. And the Unholy Alliance, this is their first tag team match. And we have... I always get this 2 wrong as well. I think it's... Let me double check. I want to say it's Brian Knobbs with the darker hair, but I always get him mixed up, so it might not be. Brian Knobbs. No, Brian Knobbs is the blonde one. So, Brian Knobbs on the far-hand side with the blonde hair. Jerry Sags on the near side fighting off against Mikey Whipwreck. I believe Brian Knobbs is still... He's only 56, actually. They look like they were in their 50s when they were wrestling back in the early 80s. But he's only 56 now, but actually. I believe he still actually is wrestling as well. Doesn't say. The last thing it says on Brian Knobbs' career is an altercation in 2012 with New Jack, where New Jack knocked him out. Sounds about right, doesn't it? You know what New Jack's like. What's Jerry Sags up to? Is he still going? It looks like the Nasty Boys, the last thing they did in like wrestling and like bigger wrestling was when they had that little run in Impact in 2010 by the looks of it. But Brian Knobbs does pick up the victory with a pin over to Jiri, and that moves them through to the next round of the Tag Team Championship Tournament. So the Unholy Alliance drop down to -1 in the rankings. The Nasty Boys pick up their first victory, and that means that Tajiri and Mikey Whipwreck will both lose themselves a point in the ranking, while Brian Noobs... What have I just done there? I've just put a ranking point down on the bottom side. I don't know what I've done there. Okay. Brian Knobbs and Big Boy Jerry Sags get a plus point each. And they'll move on, like I said, to the next round of this tag team tournament. And here is our second match of the tag team tournament. Then we have got, of course, Just Incredible and Lance Storm, the Impact players, going up against the Insane Clown Posse, Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope, making their debuts here as well in ECW Lives. And this should be an interesting one. Impact players so far have actually been very good. I believe they've had 2 tag team matches and are unbeaten so far in this universe mode. So they would, yeah, I'm correct there, yeah. They would be my favourites. The only other team to have 2 wins out of 2 is the Gangsters, who will be in tonight's main event. So, yeah, the Impact players for me would be one of the favourites to walk away with the inaugural Tag Team Championships here in ECW Lives, which will be crowned on the next pay-per-view, which I've scheduled down for release on New Year's Eve. Should be interesting. And then that'll be the end of this season. We'll have a couple of weeks off doing something else wrestling related, and then we'll come back and have another season. Because I'm quite enjoying this ECW Lives, and you guys are as well. The views are there. Well, they were there. They're not as big as they were a few days ago, like, but hey ho. It's all good. Where's my videos? There we go. Where are we? What did the pay-per-view get? 63 views on the pre-show, 60 views on the main show. So it's not bad. That's Violent J in the ring, getting struck in the back by Lance Storm over and over again. Big right hand in the gut and a clubbing blow across the back. Another one as well. And loads of hammer strikes across the back. Okay, he's up to. They're running around for no reason. They're just running around. They're just going mad. And here comes the weaponry, Violent J with a chair who gets taken out of his hands. Shaggy 2 Dope has got himself a kendo stick or a Singapore cane. But he hasn't noticed that Lance Storm's behind him and just German suplexes him onto the very loose... Well, it's a very loose description of the word mat, isn't it, really? They're about 0.5 millimeter thick, those pieces of rubber. Not really going to protect you too much from crashing into the concrete. Ooh. The alarm's going off. So Lance Storm and Shaggy 2 Dope now middle of the ring, striking back and forth. But Lance Storm, who, I mean, I know I say this a lot, to be honest with you, but a very underrated wrestler, Lance Storm. I say this about quite a few different people now, but yeah, Lance Storm for me, a very underrated wrestler. Somebody who, I think it's one of those sort of ones where he's a very good wrestler, but I don't think he really had much mic presence, much character, which is why I don't think he really leveled up to the sort of levels that he possibly could have been to. Lance Storm slamming the arm of Shaggy 2 Dope into the mat. Nice takedown there, and just incredible now stalking Shaggy 2 Dope. Went for the clothesline. Shaggy just able to avoid it. I mean, if this was a win for the Insane Clown Posse, this would possibly be such a massive, massive win that nobody ever expected. This really would be crazy if they pulled out the victory here. But there's a big move there by Shaggy. Shaggy. There's the pin. Lance Storm's back up on his feet. I don't know if he'll get there in time. He doesn't, and the Misfits have won. No freaking way. That is such a big, big, big result. Wow. That really does surprise me. Really, really surprises me. Because that now means that the Impact players, my favourites to win this entire competition, are now eliminated in the very first round, thanks to Shaggy 2 Dope's big pile driver there on Just Incredible. And that was just incredible, to be honest. Wow. And here is our next match of the evening. A third match in the tag team tournament. The Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, take on Terry Boy and Taka Michinoku of BWO International. To be honest, the way things are going at the moment, yeah, anything could happen now. I thought this would be an easy win for the Dudley Boys, to be honest, but anything could really happen now, couldn't it, really? I'm still surprised about the Misfits, I really am. getting that win against the Impact. I had the Impact players down as my favourites for the whole competition. Not only because they've won 2 out of 2 matches in ECW, but just because rating-wise, they're one of the strongest as well. I mean, the Dudley Boys have had 4 tag team matches so far, 2 wins, 2 losses. So they're currently sat middle of the pack on 0 ranking points at the moment. BWO International, 3 matches, 3 losses for them as a tag team. So I don't know if things are going to change too much here tonight. What are you two doing? So the cats have just come sprinting through the room like a steam train. Steam train? Is it freight train? I don't know. I don't rightly know, to be honest. Taka Michinoku now with a headlock on Devon. Bubba Ray's flat on his face on the outside. Remember, one more match left for you after this one tonight. That will be the Gangsters versus the Eliminators. Always a big fun match, that one. Taka now dragon screw on Devon. Bubba catches Taka, big strike. Now Bubba taking him up. Taka flips free. Bubba slapping the back of the head of Taka into the mat, dragging him back into the middle of the ring. Not sure what the plan was there by Bubba. He's just now dragging him around everywhere. Just like a chunk of meat. Bubba's going for the pin with his feet up on the ropes, but yeah, I mean, there was no point in that really, was there? He spent so bloody long there that it just never really was gonna achieve much, was he, really? Wow, what a brainbust that was by Taka Michinoku, who's now stalking Bubba. There's no way this is... If the Dudleys get knocked out as well, then this is just a stupid tournament. You can't lose the Dudleys and the Impact players from the first round of this, surely. I mean, a triple threat's probably a very strong team for this competition. Well, RVD and Sabu as well. Also, a really good team to probably win this. So I suppose there are still some strong ones there. It just seems crazy to lose some of the teams who have lost already. I say so. We've literally just lost the Impact players. And I'm going mad like the whole competition's collapsed. But, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Nice Hurricanrana there by Taka Michinoku on Bubba Ray as Devon taking that Terry Boy on the outside. Of course, the last time we saw BW International was at WrestlePalooza when the team of Terry Boy, Taka Michinoku and Dick Togo took on the team of Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes and Tommy Dreamer. Brainbuster there by Taka on Bubba Ray. Nice neckbreaker there by Devon. As Taka now looking for that Michinoku driver and hits it as well. If Terry Boy can control Devon on the outside here, which he has, the boot in the leg stopping him going. Oh, but Bubba is able to kick out. Bubba. I wrote Shag Too Dope. I've missed it with the G, the Y on the end of Shaggy. Just says Shag Too Dope now. Oh, baseball bat swung there, but Bubba was protected by his half-brother Devon. Nice strike there by Taka Michinoku and the bicycle kick. But Devon taking control now. Taka's doing incredibly well here, actually. Nice back elbow there by Taka. Running drop kick to the back. Maybe BWO could do like a strengthen. Maybe Masato Tanaka could join, but that's really out of character, isn't it, really? Or Onita. Bubba now with a pin on Terry Boy. And that is enough. The Dudleys do make their way through to the next round. Okay, we haven't lost one of the strongest tag teams. And that does actually put BWA International, rock solid bottom of the rankings now. Rock solid bottom of the rankings. Wow, I mean, if we get the Dudleys versus the Eliminators in the next round, that's going to be amazing. Right, so, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do the last match's individual ranking points as well. So let's do that now. Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J. Minus points for Just Incredible and Lance Storm. And that's a plus point for Bubba Ray and Devon. And a minus for Taka Michinoko and Terry Boy, who are both now a -5 in the singles rankings. And here is our main event of the evening. Now, my new favourites to win this entire competition, the Eliminators, go up against the team that are currently now top of the tag team rankings in the Gangsters. Of course, New Jack and Mustafa Saeed of the Gangsters versus Saturn and Cronus of the Eliminators. And here we go. I could say the Gangsters have been pretty good so far. A couple of good victories for them. And they're unbeaten as a tag team so far. 2 wins out of 2. And can they continue that form? I'll tell you what, the Gangsters doing incredibly well here so far. Taking down Cronus and Saturn. Cronus with a big uppercut. Strikes and a big boot to the side of the head of New Jack as well. Cronus now round the back in with a German suplex. Mustafa Saeed and with the neckbreaker on Saturn. Mustafa Saeed now with a pin. Surely the Eliminators can't get kicked out as well. Everybody I slap the favourite moniker on seem to get eliminated, so... I mean, I'm getting quite exaggerating, I know. I mean, there's only one team. But I mean, even though the Gangsters are top of the rankings, I still think the Eliminators should be winning this match tonight. I mean, the Eliminators do have a 100% record. I mean, they are currently sat at, is it 1 win out of 1? Yeah, they've had 1 match, they got 1 victory, so the 1 out of 1 at the moment. New Jack now drops on the pin on Cronus. Saturn being controlled on the outside by Mustafa Saeed, not Ali. Whoa, cat. Hello, cat. You're in the way of the screen. I can't see out. You want to go on the front? You want to go on the windowsill? So I've got to open the curtain for the cat so she can go and sit on the windowsill and watch the world go by. So the Gangsters are really dominating the Eliminators here, you know. Big elbow right in the face there by Mustafa Saeed. Now into the belly to belly slam on Saturn. Ugh. So all 4 members of the Radicals now are on this roster. Then we've got Benoit, Guerrero, Malenko, and Saturn, which is pretty cool. We've got Young Jericho. We're not seeing Young Jericho in a while. That's why there's just so many amazing groups in here. And I would like to bring in some sort of Cruiserweight Championship at some point. I think I found the most realistic way around doing it, to be honest. And I think that could be... in regard to FMW. Now, FMW is a Japanese hardcore wrestling brand who did actually have their own Cruiserweight Championship, so I'm thinking maybe we could bring in a FMW Cruiserweight Championship, likes of Hayabusa and Great Sasuke, maybe even bring along Jushin Thunder Liger as well, and of course we can utilise some of the fantastic Cruiserweights we have here already, Juventud, Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Dean Malenko, amongst others as well. Could really be a fantastic Cruiserweight division here. for that FMW belt, which has also been made by the ECW ECW Lives guys. They've done some fantastic work, including those FMW belts. Saturn gets an elbow or knee, sorry, right in the head by Cronus. And the Gangsters here still doing incredibly well for me. Of course, the Gangsters in real life were never really known for their wrestling ability, to be honest. They used to just come in, their music used to play the whole way through the match. They used to just smash some people over the head with some weapons and then leave after a few moments. They never really had proper long wrestling matches like this. But we're really getting the best out of New Jack here, I think. I mean, everyone's seen the worst of New Jack. Well, hopefully everyone's seen the worst of New Jack. Hopefully there's not much more worse to come from him. But we've all seen the worst of New Jack. Now we get a chance to see the best of New Jack. I did once see a video. It's from an independent show about 3 or 4 years after ECW crashed. And they might have been longer than that, to be honest, because it was Sabu versus New Jack in the main event of this independent show. And it started off, it was a pretty poor match, as you can expect. And then all of a sudden you hear the whistle going, and out comes Bill Alfonso as Sabu's manager. The crowd popped for it. But my favourite part of the entire match was when New Jack hit a snap suplex. And he celebrated like he'd just won the World Cup. And he started shouting at the crowd, "Look guys, I did a wrestling move! Look at me, I did a wrestling move!" It was just so funny. I mean, even Bill Alfonso on the outside was like, he was absolutely shocked at what he'd just seen. They played it incredibly cleverly, because they obviously know what the stereotype of New Jack and that sort of thing is, and they sort of treated the fact that he hit a standard simple suplex as like one of the biggest moments in a bit like Andre being slammed by Hulk Hogan. That's how they treated it, and it was a very funny moment. I really enjoyed it, actually. I think that's what you've got to do. I mean, if you've not got the best ability, you've got to find a way to be entertaining, and that's exactly what New Jack and Mustafa Saeed were back in ECW. They were definitely entertaining. I mean, you're not going to see hour-long masterclasses from them. I think that was the same with a lot of ECW, to be honest. You sort of had the two halves. You had the half that was just fun and just wanted to beat the hell out of each other, and then you had the half that was very technically gifted, like your Benoit, Guerreros, Jerichos. Of course, that was more the early days of ECW before WCW came along and nicked them all. And then WCW didn't use them correctly and they went to WWE instead. But I have got a strong feeling here that the Gangsters are going to win this match, aren't they? I mean, the Eliminators are just being absolutely controlled. So the Gangsters are currently top of the rankings on their own at the moment on +2. No other teams on +2 at the moment. I mean, we do have a couple of other opportunities in the next episode. Triple Threat, Chris Candido and Shane Douglas. 1 win out of 1. Danny Doring and Roadkill, 1 win out of 1 as well. New Jack up on top, dropping a headbutt on Saturn as Mustafa Saeed locks Cronus up. New Jack dumping Cronus to the Saturn to the outside, shall I say? Cronus now slamming Mustafa Saeed's face into the turnbuckle pad. Saeed fights back, lovely clothesline to the back of the head. There's the pin by Mustafa Saeed, and there's the win. The Gangsters have just knocked out the Eliminators. Oh my word, okay. The Gangsters have eliminated the Eliminators. Which means that New Jack will now go up to +2 in the rankings. As will Mustafa Saeed will go up to +3 in the rankings. And Cronus will drop down to 0, and Perry Saturn drop down to 0 as well. And that means that our first 2 quarter-final matches in this tag team tournament will be the Nasty Boys versus the Misfits, and the Dudleys versus the Gangsters. Well, there we go. I hope you've enjoyed that. Of course, if you have, slap the like, subscribe, all that other good stuff, and I will see you again in a few days' time for our next episode of ECW Lives, where we are going to see FBI versus Triple Threat, the Chair Swinging Freaks versus Public Enemy, Danny Doring and Roadkill versus the Pitbulls, RVD and Sabu, versus BWO, and Sid versus the debuting Vampire Warrior. That's next time. Goodbye.